Hello guys, welcome back again to another tutorial. My name is Dorothy. In today's video, I'll be sharing with you the sewing part of this milkmaid dress you're seeing right now. In my previous video, I shared the drafting and the cutting part of it, but in today's video, I'll be doing the sewing. If you haven't seen the previous video where I did the drafting, I will leave the link of the video in the description box. Make sure you watch that video before you watch this one, so you don't miss out on any detail or explanation. So let's get right into this one. I have transferred my pattern paper on my fabric and cut each pieces out just as I explained in the previous video. Here is my front pieces and this is the bust cup I'll be gathering inside the bustier right here. And here is my back pieces as well. So I'll keep these pieces and the back piece one corner while we work on the cup pieces. Did I mention that I cut lining for each of the pieces? Yes, I did. Okay, I cut lining for each of the pieces and the lining is the same as the fabric. So one of the fabric will be serving as a lining. So I placed both pieces together right side facing each other. Then I'll take this to the sewing machine and stitch this front right here. And I did the same thing to the other pieces as well. Place each of the pieces together right side facing each other, and I will take this to the sewing machine also and I'll stitch this front here. This is what we have after I was done sewing this side, and I did the same thing to the second piece as well. Now I will turn this over to the right face and I will arrange the seam line very well. After arranging the pieces, I'm going to head over to the sewing machine again and I will run a loose stitch on this both end here. That is this line that I am directing, and I'll do the same thing to the second piece as well. This is what we have after running the gathered stitch. So what I will do next is to pick one thread of the stitch and I will pull on it so that it can form the gathered. So you're going to pull on this thread and gather it until you have your actual bust cup measurement, okay? And after I was done gathering one side of the cup, I'm going to go ahead again and gather this upper side of the cup or the second side of the cup. All you have to do again is to pick one of the sewing thread that you stitched earlier and pull on it to form that gathered effect. And this is what I have after I was done gathering. You can see that the cup is already formed, so I will do the same thing to the second cup as well. And here we have our both cup ready. I have this band that I cut out and I'll be using this band to pipe the edges of the cup. This band is 20 inches long and it is 2 inches wide. So now I will place the band from the inside of the cup and I will use my pen to hold it together. So go ahead and do the same thing. And after I was done pinning this all the way around, I will take this to the sewing machine and I will first of all stitch it together. After sewing, I'm just going to go ahead and fold the band like this to cover up the rough edges on the cup. It's just the same way as using bias tape to pipe a neckline or anything, okay? After piping the edges of the cup, I will fold the remaining band like this to create a rope with it. So let me go ahead and do this on the sewing machine and bring it so that you see what we have. This is what we have after I was done piping the cup edges, and I did the same thing to the second cup as well. Now on this center front piece, I'll place the cup on it like this and I will use my office pen to hold it together. Go ahead and do the same thing. Place your cup on the bustier just as you can see me doing and use your pen to hold it together. And after pinning the first cup down, I will do the same thing to the second cup as well. I will simply place the cup on the bustier and I will use my pen to hold it together all the way around. After pinning the cup to the bustier, this is what it looks like. So now I will head over to the sewing machine and I will sew them together. This is what I have after I was done sewing the bustier and the cup. To fix the bustier lining, I will turn this over to the wrong face, then I'll place the right face of the lining piece on it. When fixing the lining, you have to start fixing the lining from the midpoint, okay? Just the same way you see me doing. Use your pins to hold them together, then arrange the side of the cup to the lining and pin it down as well. After arranging the lining to the bustier cup area, I will also arrange the side as well. When arranging the side, you have to push the bustier in just a little bit like this. Then use your pin to hold the both sides of the lining and the main fabric together. Then I will take this over to the sewing machine and I will sew it. This is what I have the bustier looking like after I was done sewing. Now I will turn this over to the right face and this is what it looked like on the right face. What I will do next, I will take this to the ironing table and iron it very well. Then we will proceed to work on the back pieces. So here are my back pieces. Each of the back pieces are together with its lining. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to head over to the sewing machine and I'll go ahead and sew the neckline on both sides. This is what we have after I was done sewing. I will turn this over to the right face, then take this to the ironing table and I will iron it as well. So these are the back pieces after I was done ironing. I placed the back pieces together like so, then I will place my front piece on its right side facing each other. You can go ahead and use your pins to hold them together just the way you see me doing. Now to join the side, I will simply place my body measurement on it. So on my bust point, I divided my round bust measurements by 2 and I marked it. The round bust measurement I am working with is 32. 32 divided by 2 is 16. So I mark 16 on my bust point, taking note of the allowance. Then right here on the waistline, I divided the round waist measurement that I'm working with by 2 as well, and the round waist measurement I am working with is 26. 26 divided by 2 is 13. So I marked 13 inches on the waistline, taking note of the allowances as well. Now I'll use my chalk to connect both points together that I marked. Then I'll head over to the sewing machine and I'll go ahead and join the side. This is what we have after I was done sewing the side. The bustier is ready, so I'll keep it aside while we work on the flip part. I will be using this paper to illustrate how I'll be folding and cutting the half cycle fleet, that is 180-degree fleet. My fabric is big, so the table will not contain us. You can see that this paper have 4 edges, and that's how my fabric have 4 edges as well. So pick one of the edges like this, then fold it into 2. When you fold it into 2, you'll have it looking like a triangle, just as mine is looking. So it's from this pointy edge here you will go ahead and take the measurement from. That is your waist circumference measurement and the length of the fleet. To get the waist radius, it has a formula though, but I'll be doing it this way. I will simply divide the waist measurement by 2 and I add my zipper allowance to it, and whatever the result is, you will place your tape rule like this. Okay, just curve your tape rule like this and get the half of the waist measurement that you divided. If you get the half of the waist measurement, mark the point. Then from the tip of the folded triangle, you are going to measure down to the point where you make a mark. And whatever the result is, let's assume it's 2 inches. That simply means the 2 inches is your waist radius. Okay, so go ahead and mark 2 inches all the way around. After you finish marking, go ahead and connect the points together. Then you cut it out. For the length of the flay, let's say the length of the flay I am working with is 4 inches. Add the waist radius to the length of the flay. That is the 2 inches for the waist radius plus the length of the flay, which is 4, is 6. So from the pointy edge right there, you go ahead and place your measuring tape and you mark 6 inches all the way around just to get the full flay. And when you finish marking this 6 inches point all the way around, go ahead and connect the point together. Or you can simply take the length of the flay by placing your tape rule on the waist circumference line, just the way you see me doing. Go ahead and mark the 4 inches for the length of the flay. After you mark this all the way around, you connect the point together and cut it out. And that is all. So here is the waist and here is the length of the flay. So guys, I'll be using this pattern to cut out my flay and I'll be doing this off camera. So guys, this is what I have after I was done cutting out the flay. Now to get the slit on the flay, you simply divide the nipple to nipple measurements by 2 and mark it on the waistline. After marking the nipple to nipple measurement on the waistline, you just pick one layer of the fabric like this and you'll cut through all the way to the end, just the way you see me doing. There are many ways to slit the flay and this is just one of it, and this will give you a neater finishing. Okay, now I will place these 2 pieces together and I'll take it to the sewing machine and I will sew it to the point where I want my slit to stop. This is what we have after I was done sewing the pieces together, and I also went ahead to iron it. Now I'll place the half length measurement on the flay right side facing each other and I'll take it to the sewing machine and I will join the both waistline together. This is what we have after I was done joining the waistline. Next one, I'll join the 2 back pieces together and I'll go ahead and sew the back piece, and for the zipper allowance, I'll just go ahead and fix my zipper. So guys, this is what I have after I was done fixing the zipper. I will keep this aside while we work on the sleeve. For the sleeve, I already cut out pieces that I'll be using for the sleeve. The length of the sleeve is 9 inches while the width is 10 inches and the width is unfold. To mark the sleeve armhole, I simply place the pattern paper on the fabric like so. Then I use the scissors to cut out the armhole just the way you see me doing. This is what we have. On this edge on the armhole, I will fold it by 0.5 inch. Then I'll go ahead and stitch that so that we can be able to pass our elastic through it, and I'll also fold the length of the sleeve as well. So this is what I have after I was done folding the both edges of the sleeve. After folding the edge on the armhole side, the armhole became smaller, so I used my scissors to remove half an inch from the armhole so that it can sit well on the dress armhole. I have my elastic band here, and the width of this elastic band is half an inch, and I also have my safety pin here that I will use to pass the elastic through the channel that I created. So what I just did was use my safety pin to hook the elastic like this. Then I push the safety pin inside the channel that I created, and I will keep pushing this elastic in until I get to the end of this elastic. I will use my pin to hold this end of the elastic to the fabric so it doesn't move inside while I continue pushing the elastic inside. And when I get to the second end here, I'll pull out my safety pin. Then I will use office pin to hold the elastic to the fabric also. So this is how I'm going to pass the elastic in all the channel that I created. When I'm done, I will take this to the sewing machine and I will sew this end that I used pins to hold. So guys, this is what I have after I was done passing the elastic to the sleeve, and I also stitched the edges where the elastic is, and our sleeve is ready. The next thing is I will go ahead and fix the sleeve on the dress. So on my dress right here, I open the armhole, then I place the armhole of the sleeve on the dress right side facing each other, and I will use pins to hold them together. After that, I will do the same thing to the second side of the sleeve also. I'll simply place the sleeve armhole on the dress armhole, then I will use my pins to hold it together. So this is what I have after I was done fixing the first sleeve, and when I'm done, I'm going to take this to the sewing machine and I will sew the sleeve to the dress. This is how it's going to be looking like. Now I'll go ahead and do the same thing to the second sleeve. So guys, this is what I have after I was done sewing the sleeve to the dress, and I also went ahead to hem the length of this dress. You can see how neat and beautiful this dress looks. This brings us to the end of this tutorial, and I hope this tutorial was helpful. If you have any question, leave your question in the comment section and I will respond to it. And also don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do well to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Thank you so much for watching this video. See you all in my next one.